Well, this is just a quick rundown of the items I picked up at that estate, where this is trip number 4 back to that same estate. And I scored a couple of items today that actually I was not aware that they were even there at all, and they surfaced, and I was glad to see them. First item, though, is actually something that I initially had passed on and bought everything that was inside of it, and could have had it when I was there the first time and passed on it. And then when I went back today, I decided that it was kind of probably a handy little storage cabinet, so I decided to grab this storage cabinet. From being down in the basement, it's got a little bit of rust, and it's dirty as heck. And one of the feet here, plastic feet, broke when we were taking it out because the plastic's kind of brittle from age. Other than that, it's in good shape. So I'm not familiar with this name, but this is a Suncast cabinet, or they're actually, I think, calling it a locker, because I actually found the original paperwork. He had a price of 35 bucks on this. I ended up pooling this stuff together today, and I figure I'm into this cabinet for 20 bucks. Well, let me put it this way. I paid 80 bucks for the lot today. So it's got 4 shelves, magnetic latches, real simple padlock style clasp if I wanted to lock it, which I don't need to. But the thing is, on trip number 2, I believe, I bought all of the stuff that was in that cabinet, and there were some good sized vices and stuff in there. There was a lot of heavy metal on those shelves, and it was holding it no problem. Next item is this swivel base for a machinist vise. I'm hoping this is either the base for the Kurt, but although this color seems all wrong, or maybe the Chinese knockoff Kurt vise. But that'll add value to that vise, so I was glad to see this there. The only markings on it is cast E.M on the bottom. So probably try that Chinese vise on that. I think that's what might fit on this. So I figured that was worth 15 bucks. As you guys already had seen, I pretty much went plumb crazy with buying vices at this estate, and I had passed on this one the last 2 times I was there. The first time I was there, I didn't see this one. On trip number 2 and 3, I think I saw this vise and passed on it both times. And finally, when I went back today, I figured that's like the only one that's left of machinist type vices, other than the one that was on the central machinery mill drill, which was a junky little Asian vise that came probably with that mill drills. And I told him, I said, that should just stay with that mill, whoever buys that. This is a little no-name job here. Haven't found any markings on it to indicate who makes this. But not a bad little vise for somebody. I think it's going to be too redundant for my uses. I've got plenty of other things I can use. So this is interesting. Just notice that this has got the same color paint on the underside as that base over there does. I wonder if that's a Asian import thing. Oh, so I figured that I only valued that for 15 bucks also. So that's 15, and 15 is 30, and the cabinet is 20. That's 50 bucks. I told you I spent 80. Let me show you what else I got. So when I mentioned that there wasn't a handle for that vise, he says, oh no, he says, the handle's right here. And he reached into the cabinet and he pulled out this handle right here, and I quickly realized that no, this handle's too big for that vise. So this might also be a good fit for that Chinese import vise or something, I don't know. But I figured, what the heck. I figured this was good for 5 bucks. And then I found this little Lazy Susan in a cabinet on the first trip. I found this, but I couldn't really think of a good use for it. Didn't really catch my eye, and I ended up not buying it. And since it was still there, I said, you know what? I said I'm going to use it for exactly what somebody else was using it for. You could tell. It's basically they had a small part they wanted to paint, and they just basically were using this to spin the part as they painted it to get an even coating on there. That's what I believe they were doing. I don't know if that's what this is originally intended for or what, but it's actually a decent little swiveling pedestal, and there is a maker's name on this, but I don't know if I can. Well, it says, you know, distributed by Harbor Freight Tools. This is an item number 45856, turntable with pedestal, 360-degree table rotation. Well, no duh. Made in China. So it's just a cheapy thing. But, you know, I figured it was worth 10 bucks. So that brings us up to $65. So what did I spend the last $15 on? It was the first thing I saw, almost the first thing I spotted when I walked in today, and I was so glad to see it. He had it. I was sitting on a shelf because he probably knew that if I came back I was going to want this. It's a magnetic indicator stand, but look, it's the Wilton. It's the missing piece to that set that I bought, and he knew that this went in that set. He recognized the name. So I actually ended up paying pretty much, I guess, like 15 bucks for this. But what this does is this makes that a complete set. Now my only problem is, my conundrum is, I kind of want to put this in that set so I can sell that set as a complete set. That's part of me is thinking that. But the other thing that's giving me kind of conniptions is this thing acts like, I know it's just an import, but it acts like a Noga. It's one of these ones where you just loosen this one knob and you can really articulate the heck out of this thing. So it's actually kind of a nice design, but maybe I'm better off putting this in the set, selling the whole set, and then just using the proceeds to buy myself a good secondhand Noga. Although those Noga indicator stands like this are crazy money. So that's it. I don't know if I'm going to ever end up going back to that estate. The pickings are getting a little slimmer, although he claims that there's more stuff to be brought out and dug out. So we'll see. Well, I'm glad it's supper time. Mosquitoes are starting to bite like crazy.